In this video, we're going to be covering the use and how to install a strip miter. So with this gutter, what we did is, so there would be a corner on the house here. We would run the gutter out and make sure we leave about a 1/4 inch short here on this one side and a 1/4 inch here on this other side. So that way this strip miter can easily slip into place. Also, another thing that we want to know is when we run these out, we're going to cut both of these to a 45. The 45 makes a 90 degree, and that's what the strip miter is. So run this out, cut it with the saw, cut this side with the saw, and then you hang it, and then that's when we're at this point. When we hang it, we also want to make sure that we leave about a 5 to 6 inch gap between this and the first hanger, because you want to make sure that you still have a little bit of room behind here to get this strip miter in place. Because what happens is if it's too tight and you have that hanger right here, you will never be able to slip this in properly and it's going to sit funny. So just make sure you leave about 6 inches with the last hanger before you put this in, or before when you hang this up originally. And if you can't get it in for some reason, you can always loosen this up, get this in, and then tighten it back up when you're done. So the first thing you want to do is just take your strip miter, and like I said, you have your 45 degree angle here. You're going to want to take it, and the back end here is shaped to fit that 90 degrees. So you can take it and you're going to wedge it in here, and you're just going to push up until you got it all the way up, all right? So you're going to push in with your back 2 fingers in the bottom, and then we're going to take these lips, and you can see what's going to happen is when we attach it, it's going to hold like this, all right? And this is a white one just because I want you guys to be able to see it a little bit easier. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our zip screws in now in the proper location. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is our first screw is going to be placed between this flap and this flap. So you can see how they overlap, and we want to make sure that when we put this screw in, we're grabbing both of them. So that way it holds it together and doesn't move. We're also going to take our left hand, and you can't see, but I'm pushing up on the back end of this to make sure that this strip miter is as far up as possible and tight. So we're going to add our first screw right here. Like that, all right. Make sure this is still tight. It is. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our other one on this side right here. So same thing, we're going to take our hand and we're going to push up on this strip miter right here with our right hand or our left hand and make sure it's tight. Okay, it is. Give it a good push. Screw that in there like that, all right? Feel back down here, it's tight, all right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next step. All right, so now that we have our first 2 screws in, we have our first one up here and then a second one up here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add our last 2. So the first one is going to go right in this location, and we can't just screw it in, so we got to make sure that when we do this, we are pushing up on this strip miter, and we're pushing up on this other strip miter to make sure that it's sitting evenly and in place. So we're going to hold this up with 1 finger like that, and we're going to take our zip screw, put it in here like that, all right? And then we're going to head over to this other side, and we're going to do the same thing. So again, take your zip screw, all right? And we're going to push this down like that to get this as even as possible. And again, make sure it's same length, same size as the other one. Screw that in there. And then you can see that it's completely flush down here, and it's completely flush over here, and it's completely flush up here. Same thing with this opposite side. And now we're ready to seal. All right, so now that we have all of our zip screws in place, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna seal up this strip miter. And if you do this properly, you should be able to get this whole thing within 1 thick strip, because if you got a 1/4 inch on each side, it should add up to about a 1/2 inch between here. So we're gonna go ahead and start at the top up here and carefully put down this on that seam. All right, do this seam, pull that all in. Then we're gonna go on this side. And I'm out of caulk. I'm gonna go get some more caulk. All right, I just got some new sealant. That's a tip for you guys. Make sure you always have enough sealer before you head up to seal your gutter, because what'll happen is you'll get up there, walking up that big extension ladder, and you'll go, oh shit, I don't have enough. So now that we have some new sealer, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna finish off this little part right here Make sure that these are all sealed. All right. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add it to this front lip right here. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but we're just gonna go all the way up here to the very top, making sure you get both sides. All right. Like that. Put some sealer there, put some sealer there, put some sealer here, and then same thing with this opposite side. We're gonna put some sealer there. All right. And then we're gonna go over and we're gonna cover up these screw points that we made with our zip screws. So put some sealer on there and there. Make sure those are good. Then you can go ahead and you can put some right here as well if you want to. All right, and then this last screw. Put it right here. All right, and now we're gonna go over and we're gonna bead this seal. So you just wanna make sure that all of these are covered and that there's no weak points. Take your finger down here and we're gonna spread all of these in. All right, now head over to the other side. Same thing. Spread all these in, make sure these are all covered. All right, like that. All right, and your finished product should look something like that. So to make sure you did it correctly, you can feel right here, make sure that these two things are flush. Look on the bottom, make sure that it's flush down there. Make sure that this seal has enough caulk on it to where it's not gonna leak. And that all the screw points are sealed up. All right, and that's it for the strip miter.